Hey, 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 good evening, good afternoon, good morning. No matter what part of the world you're in, I'm hoping it's a good one. Well, welcome to the Spirit Phoenix Rising show on Earth's #1 psychic radio network, the A1R Psychic Network. Or maybe you're watching us on Moonstruck TV, or maybe you're watching us on YouTube. It doesn't matter where you're watching. I'm just glad that we're here together. Now, you guys, if you've been sharing time with me over the last few weeks, you know I live to talk to amazing people about spiritual topics, mystical things, magical things, things that are paranormal, things that are not so normal. Well, tonight I have a magical and mystical guest with us. I've got someone who is an ordained minister. I've got someone who is an amazing music producer, and I've got someone who is an actual wizard. Now, these aren't three different people. This is not someone with schizophrenia and three different personalities. This is someone who's a triple threat, all rolled into one, who is also an amazing tarot card expert. And we're going to get enlightened tonight with a little bit of information, a little bit of fun and conversation. So, if you will, my friends, please join me in welcoming the Reverend Jason D. McKean, the tarot wizard. Let's bring him on. Hey.
Thank you. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. I'm glad I'm not schizophrenic, or maybe I am. Let me ask myself. I'm going to hold counsel here, and we'll be the judge of that.
Right. Well, it's like some people have a lot of personalities, others have a lot of personalities, So we'll try to make sure that we're not misdiagnosing anyone here. I'm not going to step into those shoes. So how are you tonight? Thank you for being with us.
I'm doing great, and I like to think that I have a center, an authentic core, that all of these things that I do in the world, that they emanate from. Just it's kind of like just one source, and then I can be the musician, I can be the reverend, I can be the tarot reader, and just like be at my core just authentic, and come at it from a place of healing. That's like where I feel that my core like stems from, is that place of being a healer in the world.
I like that. I think we both identify as healers. And one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on tonight, Jason, is I feel, I really resonate with a lot of the work you do. And I feel we have a lot in common, right? We both are interested in helping people with our, spiritual gifts, our divine gifts. We both have an interest in the tarot cards. We both have lived in several states of bliss, states of confusion. But we've lived in
and Texas
across the year, and Texas, right? And you also spent some time up in Alaska. Is that correct? Even though I wanted to say you're California born and beard, but you're California born and bred, right?
That's right. That's right. I as a young child, I was forced to move up to Alaska. I was 10, and it's like my formative years were here in California, and I was a state track champion. I was like on top of the world, at 9 years old. And then at 10, we actually literally moved to the top of the world. And man, oh man, talk about just a shock, cultural shock, environmental shock, the cold, the snow, like, it blew my mind. But, I actually went from being an outdoors kid, and someone who was very physical and all that, to an indoor. It was like I went inside, and I became an artist. I became a filmmaker. I became a musician, and a philosopher as well. As far as that just fed my soul. And so it's like these things in life, they are sometimes detours that will take us to away from ourselves. Sometimes they take us to find ourselves, and I feel that it was one to find myself.
Wow. So all of these modalities, I said triple threat, but so many of us have different disciplines that we practice. It makes me think of, the concept of Da Vinci and the Renaissance man. My name comes from Renaissance, and the name that I have literally means to be reborn. So constantly reinventing, constantly looking into new things, but at the same time, there are certain subjects that we like to really delve deeply into, and rather than just be a neophyte or apprentice, we really become masters of them. Don't you agree? The more you practice the things that interest you, you get to a certain level with them, and certain things come to the foreground.
Yeah, and just on the name aspects too, it's like my name means healer in Greek, Jason, and so it's like my parents were like, they were thinking ahead for me, or they were like in the state of flow with the universe. But I find that I've always given myself permission to succeed at something that if it was music, if it was creating an album, and I've created about 50 albums
My goodness.
of music. I'm a self-taught musician. I've had little piano lessons here and there, and guitar lessons, and I've been in bands, and I've you learn a lot from playing with other people and having to keep up with them when you are self-taught, when you're not so good, and it's like you just you give yourself permission to succeed and to learn the steps of anything that you're looking to do, and whether I'm creating an album or I'm reading tarot, it's like there's a certain framework that I operate from, and then in the moment, in the present, I fill in that framework so that it's not completely just this uh, kind of spacey process, or where there's no basis in it, because there's always like when I'm reading, there's a basis of looking to be clear with someone else, to look to be helpful so that they can move through a hard situation, and to be of service. That is how I approach like the tarot, and so within that framework, I'm able to connect with someone, and to help them move through a difficult time in their life, because no one comes to a tarot reader if everything is going great. There's that just doesn't happen. It's always where it's like, this is the worst week of my life.
Well, we find that a lot of people will take time out to write a letter of complaint, but not many people take time to write a letter of praise. And when we are feeling troubled, we do look to others who might have certain gifts for guidance, for reflection, in order to gain insight and clarity. And for both of us, I know we both enjoy working with the cards. It's like, maybe you could explain a little bit about how you feel that you guide people through a transformation process using this spiritual tool. How does that work for you? How does that work?
Well, as part of that framework, I like to see life as a flow of energy. And if we are in a flow that is kind of a consistent flow, or if we're being blocked, and if we're blocking ourselves, or if we're being blocked by an outer influence, and with the tarot, you can kind of pinpoint what that is, and because it's such a, what I would call like a blind process, in that one is not choosing cards by looking at the faces where they're face up, but they're face down, right? We're just looking at the backs of these cards when we're choosing, and so we're going into this space of trust, and it's a magical space that we go into, where we can create real magic, and not just like create an illusion where it's like, oh, well, this card is marked, and I know this is going to be the Hermit, and I'm going to like really impress this person with my, and let's pick the Hermit for you, and there it is. It's not a magic act. It's not an illusion.
Right.
It's about really getting into the energy of it, trusting that energy, because that is like that layer of spirit that wants to be a major part of our lives. And and so, when one is in that flow of energy, one can see their part in their life to see if they are uh, uh, like consciously creating blocks or subconsciously, and looking how to build awareness so that one can start to clear those blocks. One can start to shape their life in a more desirable fashion. So that's simply how I approach it, right? And it's can be different every time, the experience, as far as I find that if I like clear the slate within me and say, okay, well, not, because one can say, oh, let's just do this and this and this and this and make it a process. But if I clear the slate, I'm open in the present to the person who's in front of me. It's like it's a remarkable experience, and that's the magic of it.
You've mentioned about the energy, right? And, I think a lot of times in spiritual circles, new people coming in will hear things like, oh, energy and grounding, and not quite grasp initially what that means. And, you talked about music, and, there is a system that is about frequency and vibration and energy. But, as we move along on the spiritual path, we begin to see that these definitions can be applied to virtually everything. Everything is frequency. Everything has a vibration. Everything, could be seen in the realm of color or sound. So it's kind of fascinating, right? How these modalities do blend, and some people, are drawn to more than others, but the cards definitely have applications to just about every situation in everybody's life, from even past lives, right? I know you do some work with people in the realm of past life work with the cards. Can you speak a bit about that?
Yeah, that's right. As far as like being able to see past life energy, because spirit is not confined to just like the laws of the physical. It's more it is in that realm of the metaphysical. It's outside of time and space. That's why you can feel the like if someone is feeling a certain way and they're across the world, right? It's like
Mhm.
how is that possible, right? It's like it's because we're all connected within that range of the spiritual energy. And if I were to just break it down to like what is spirit, I would say it's connection.
Mm,
It's where we're all connected. And we get into like the intellectual aspects of like, well, no, it's like there's all these boundaries and stuff like that. And yes, that helps us uh define our life so that we can navigate it in a certain way. It keeps us on the right side of the road, while we're driving, keeps things organized, keeps the deeds to properties all set. It's like write the check out to me, my identity, that's it works on this level, right? But for the spiritual, everything is connected. And when you're able to tap into that that connectivity and work within those realms, and it can take practice too.
yes.
It's like so much practice that it's a lifetime's worth, and the next lifetime and the next. And so being able to just kind of like go into the past the boundaries of this life into a past life, and to see what events have taken place that may still be influencing you in this life. If there's trauma that happened 800 years ago that keeps you from living a fulfilled life now, it's like being able to see it. And once we see it, once we experience it, there is a catharsis that can take place where it's like, you know what, I'm ready to let go of this
Mm,
energy. I'm ready to start uh, being like activating another part of myself. and
mm,
and the same is true with gifts, talents, natural abilities. I'm starting like some new meditations and all, and looking at the past where a natural ability kind of takes root or gets activated, and then it's here we are born in this life, and it's like we all know those people who can just kind of do something instantly, and it's like, what, I've been working on that for years and I haven't been able to master that, and you just like pick it up like instantly. And looking at to see how that can even progress into the future, because again, there's no time and space within that realm of spirit. One can look, do meditations looking at the future and seeing oneself, and
Mm.
um and then looking to see what they're doing now to make sure that they're preparing for that future, that they're doing the necessary moves and activating those parts of yourself that will get you to that place that you're seeing.
Mm, so much of this stuff that maybe many years back was relegated to be woo woo has since been proven and corroborated by science, connection through time and space. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. We think of the double slit experiment. We think of the new physics and how it's showing, this idea of bilocality, an electron over here separated from one over there, behaving and connecting, responding in the same way. So it's, or even the chakra system. Here we have something that, came through Hinduism, Buddhism, etc. And then modern science shares with us the vagus nerve, this bundle of
Yeah.
nerves that's running down our body that is controlling different parts of the parasympathetic nervous system. So what's old is new again, and what's new is old, right? It's
Yeah,
kind of a
what a fun sounding nerve system too. The vagus nerve. Who doesn't have fun in Vegas, right?
right? And what stays in the vagus nerve stays in the vagus nerve. Let me tell you. And
I,
I'm rooted down with you right now on that one.
I haven't had anyone go back into a past life and said that they were Albert Einstein.
No.
It's usually something that is very much pertaining to their life now. Like during the quarantine, the lockdown, and all, people have gone back to lives where they've been very simple existences, like in small towns, in on the plains, like Kansas,
Mm.
that kind of thing, where people didn't have a lot of expectation of like, hey, let's go out clubbing. It was just like, well, another day on the farm, and just being kind of drawing from that energy of just knowing that you can kind of dumb down your life. You can kind of keep it simple just
Mm.
for this time period, and get back to basics of food, preparing food and all, not just rushing around and having to be everywhere, and not thinking about your own health and all. So it's been really quite fascinating, at this time. And I always think that we are here for a reason, at this time. Some people will say, oh, no, I should have been back in the 20s, or back during the Civil War or whatever. And it's like, no, it's like you are meant to be here at this time.
Like Ram Dass says, be here now, right?
Yeah.
Be here now. So I wanted to ask you, I mean, you read for folks all over the world. You've read even on haunted ships, the Queen Mary. I'm curious, when you encounter folks, as you have from all over, what do you think the biggest myths and misconceptions are about the tarot? What do you think they are?
um well, there's fear
Mm.
with it. It's like, when I'm on the ship, um and someone isn't like scheduling a reading. It's more kind of like a party atmosphere. It's like the common questions are, it's like, are you going to tell me how I'm going to die?
Oh, that's a
Eh,
good one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's something that
Yeah.
my standard comeback is like, no, I'm going to show you how to live.
Ah.
And because everywhere I read, I take the same um, I guess idea of who it is that I am as a healer, as a tarot wizard. Um, I want it to be a helpful tool, a tool for people to find that which is helpful, healing, and hopeful, for their life. And so that it feels like it's an uphill climb, because the vast majority of people who will go to psychics, or they're asking about relationships. They're like, and it can be the minute details of the relationships, the stuff that is, uh, you know it doesn't necessarily look at what their part is in a relationship. It's like, what is this other person doing, and why are they doing this to me, as opposed to, how can I change this up so that I don't fall into the same patterns, and attract the people that will, uh, not be of benefit to me.
Mm. Yeah, I think you're right about fear. It becomes its own stumbling block. It becomes an obstacle. A lot of people who may have grown up in very religious households may think that these things are of the devil, or, they hear the word occult and they get scared of that, not understanding that the word, it translated literally means hidden. And as artists, as tarot readers, what do? We help people see what they can't see. We help them see the blind spots. We help them see what might be hidden from them. We're simply holding up their soul's mirror. Would you agree?
Yes, and what I love most about the tarot is because it is a visual medium, and when you have the either the beauty of like a conference call, these days, it's like the best is in person, because I can have people choose cards as well, where it's not just me picking cards, but they're also in on it. And because um those aspects of where they are, seeing this story unfold there, that is reflective of their journey, of their life, that talks about their hopes and their fears in such a way that they're able to see themselves in it. That is like, a process of building trust, and seeing that, again, that this spiritual, part, that's a lot bigger, and that they can have, trust in their own journey forward. And so I feel that because it's like that visual aspect, it also just kind of helps cement that into their own consciousness, and help with their expansion.
Ah, yeah, it's all about expansion. Well, if folks want to expand and get in touch with you, what is the best way for them to find you, Jason?
My website is Jason D, as in Dumbledore, McKean, JASONDMCKEAN.com. And I'm on Facebook, under Jason D. McKean. I'm on Instagram under Jason Tarot Wizard. And I do like a daily tarot meditation. But I like to do, like I'll read everywhere I can. I'm reading with the Japanese community through a translator right now,
Wow,
and boy, oh boy, that just opens it up. Where I'm really blessed to be able to do that, and so I read, at every opportunity that I can.
wonderful, wonderful. Well, this again is the Reverend Wizard Jason D. McKean. I'm your host, Renee Lynn, and this has been the Spirit Phoenix Rising Show. I'm so grateful you could come spend time with us tonight, Jason, and explain a little bit about what you do and demystify the tarot for some of our listeners and viewers. Anyway, I'm going to wish everyone a beautiful namaste and a fabulous good night. And we'll see you again right here next week on the very same night. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.